What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word? Hummingbird. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Life After Lockup Season 4, Episode 14. Let's start with Chaz and Bronwyn. I don't even know if I'm going to read my notes. I feel like I just want to have a conversation about Chaz and Bronwyn. Bronwyn, what are you doing? What is your what are you doing? What is happening here? It would have been one thing if you and Chaz were not married and you wanted to play this cat and mouse game with him and you want to be all coy with him and act like you want him but don't really follow through. But y'all are married. You had agreed to marry this man. Now, albeit it was for that makes it even worse though when you really think about it. You agreed to marry this man. You didn't have to do that. You could have said, no, I'm not ready. I just got out of prison. I need to get my life together. I need to bond with my daughter. Or you could even have said, I still have feelings for my ex. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you felt like I was using you while I was locked up. But I just don't think you could have said so many things to this man to prevent marrying him. But instead, you went ahead and you married him. And the purpose of marrying him, it wasn't even like, well, for him, I guess it was for love, but also y'all wanted to get married so that you'd be able to travel outside of Portland to Kentucky. That makes it even worse because then he has an expectation that you were serious about leaving Portland and moving to Kentucky with him because you went through this whole process of getting married. Now, you're dragging your feet with moving to Kentucky. You're dragging your feet with consummating your marriage. How much longer do you think this man is going to wait? So for his birthday, he spends money on a plane ticket to fly all the way across the country to spend time with you for his birthday. All you can do is give him some cheap, dry, store-bought cake, some dollar store balloons, and then you take him to a subpar strip club for him to get all hot and bothered and not be able to do anything with all of his hormones. And then you have him drop you off like, you're a 16-year-old getting dropped off after your friend's mom, picks you up from the mall or something. What are you doing, Bronwyn? What is your end game? It's funny to me how, I don't know what is going on with Bronwyn because if you're, I just don't understand. I don't get it. And then whenever she says, and I'm really hesitant about saying what I'm about to say because it's going to probably sound, I don't know, extremely inappropriate. But it isn't like when she talks about how, I can't perform. I can't, be intimate when I'm sober because I'm only used to doing it when I'm high. When she says that, girl, it's not like it is with the male, where your equipment has to work. It's not like that, technically. Okay. It's like things can still get done. Okay. Things can still get done. It may not be the best experience for you, but things can still get done if you're willing to tolerate it. And if you're doing it willingly with consent, things can still get done. I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of women out there, a whole bunch of girlfriends and wives who are like, you know what, let's just get it done. I'm consenting, but I'm not getting the full benefit of it, but let's just get it done. You know what I'm saying? What is the deal, Bronwyn? How much longer do you think you're going to keep this man chasing you from Kentucky to Portland, and he's getting nothing in return? And I'm not just even talking about the intimacy. I'm talking about the fact that you are supposed to be his wife, and he wants you to go back home with him and start this life with him. And you're talking, oh, my school, there's schools in Kentucky. There's online schools. You don't have to be in one physical location to finish your classes. You can drop that if it's really impossible, you can drop whatever program you're in and go pick it up or start a new one in Kentucky. Chaz is going to pay for it. It's okay. He's going to pay for all of it. So you take him to a strip club, you get him all hot and bothered, and then you just ditch him. Why would you do that? Why couldn't you have spent time with him? I don't know what it is. I mean, you could have just It was just a waste of time. It was for this man's birthday, and for him to travel as far as he did, and for him to go through whatever he went through with the flights being delayed, and then you take him to a cheap strip club, and then that time would have been better spent if y'all were just having dinner, go to a nice restaurant, have dinner, and then make it for your curfew. Why would you put him through all of that? And so Chaz says in his confessional that he's beginning to see some red flags. He said that it's possible that Bronwyn was maybe avoiding being intimate with him, and that's why she took him to the strip club. Or it's possible that she wanted him to get all hot and bothered, which would have made her hot and bothered, and then they would have made something happen. Let's choose option A, Chaz. So then there's a point where, when they were still at the strip club, one of her friends takes Chaz outside to have a conversation with him. And she tells Chaz straight up, and I appreciated this particular friend for being so brutally honest. She tells him, I don't think she's going to be moving to Kentucky with you, because the longer she is here in Portland, the less likely she's going to be moving to Kentucky. I don't think that's going to be happening. I don't understand what Chaz is. I don't understand what Bronwyn is doing. I don't get it. I don't know. And then Chaz, you look, cut your losses before you spend another red cent. Cut your losses. Let her go. Just let her go. You're not being satisfied as a husband in any kind of way, not just the physical part, but in any kind of way. Y'all live on opposite sides of the country. Just let it go. Get your annulment, your divorce, whatever you got to do, let it go. She can figure it out on her own. She can go back on the pole if she needs money. She can find another simp to financially take care of her. She's going to school already, so maybe she can get her career started and start making her own money, whatever it is. But Chaz, you're looking like a damn fool. You're not getting anything out of this. Absolutely nothing out of this. Now we're at the point. You went to Portland. She made a fool out of you, taking you to a strip club, barely kissed you goodnight. Now we're getting to the point where whatever happens after this, you can't blame her. You can't blame her because all the signs are there that this is not the one for you. This is not it, Chaz. All the signs are there that this is not it. I don't know what kind of game Bronwyn is running. I don't know how much money you're giving her that they're not showing on the show. I have no idea what the hell's going on because I'm like, Bronwyn, what is in it for you? You don't want to be near this man. You don't want to move to Kentucky. Is it just the money? And is how much money is he actually giving you? Like, what is really going on here? What is really happening? It's like there's parts of this story that's missing or something. I don't know. But anyway, that is Chaz and Bronwyn. Chaz, cut your losses, get your annulment or your divorce. Let this woman go. She'll be fine. She's a survivor. She has a lot of options to support herself. She'll be just fine. And then you can go back on your little prison website and find you another whatever you want to call these women. And by the way, Chaz looks a whole lot better in his confessional than he does in the actual show. And I think it's got something to do with the glasses. I think those big square glasses just kind of age him a little bit. I don't know. But in the confessional, he looks pretty decent in the confessional. Let's move on to Taylor and Chance. So Taylor and Chance. Taylor's dad and her stepmom, they come to meet Chance, and they're doing an Easter bunny hunt for the children. So Chance is dressed up like the Easter bunny, and this is how he meets her father for the very first time. So the father is extremely dry. He has no sense of humor. He has no social skills, like as far as just being personable. He's extremely, and his wife, Taylor's stepmom, she's even drier. So Chance tries to break the ice with some very inappropriate jokes. He introduces himself to the father and he says, I'm a part-time, I don't know what he said, a part-time sex addict and a part-time sex slave. I don't know what the hell this man said, but he was trying to break the ice. It didn't land well at all. Nobody laughed, and Taylor was absolutely embarrassed. And so Taylor says in her confessional that there was a time when her dad and her dad's wife, her stepmom Kathy, were living with her and Bobby. And there was a lot of tension between Bobby and her father because Bobby struggles with addiction. And I guess the father is really old school and he believes in tough love because Taylor said that the father would call the cops on Bobby, I guess to try to help her get clean or to try to help her stop taking drugs or whatever. And he would want her to get arrested. And they tell Taylor that she needs to cut her losses and basically get, like cut off all ties with her sister because her life will never progress if she's constantly worrying about Bobby. And the father tells Chance, your relationship will never work as long as she's running after her sister. And I'm just like, what? This girl, Bobby, she has an addiction. She is struggling with it's not that easy, especially when she's got a father like that and a stepmom like that. Man, I'm surprised that we still have Bobby with us on this earth because I can only imagine the amount of drugs that she was consuming living with that man and his wife. Because that dad is very like old school, old fashioned. He's not going to show you no sympathy, no understanding, no compassion. It's just like, why don't you just put those drugs down and, be done with it? Like, it's that easy. That's the kind of guy he is. Like, just put the drugs down. And then it's so bad that Taylor cannot even tell her dad that Bobby's in rehab and that she relapsed because he's probably just going to say a whole bunch of really inappropriate, hurtful things. And it's just really sad. And so the whole entire time, Taylor is sad and upset. The dad wants Taylor, like I said before, he wants him. And then, what's his name? Chance says, well, yeah, we can't really give up on her because it's going to be a death sentence. So now he's talking as if he wants to work things out with Bobby. But Chance, if you want to work things out with Bobby and you don't want to give up on her, you don't want to get rid of her, let her come back into the damn home. She needs to be around her family. Just because the garage is attached to the house doesn't mean that she's still a part of the family or that she's still part of the household. If you care so much, Chance, let her come back into the home. I'm not understanding. These people are weird. I have questions for Taylor. I have so many questions for Taylor. Girl, why aren't you trying to do more for your sister? And I understand that your sister is an adult. She's a grown woman and you have your own children to worry about. But it's like you're putting Chance on this hierarchy and then your sister is somewhere below all of that. Man, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And Taylor, of course, talks about how her dad and her stepmom were extremely judgmental about Bobby's drug use. And, yeah. Anyways, moving on from that. So later on, Chance comes home and he has brought a surprise. And his surprise is a big, new, shiny red pickup truck. And so, yeah, Taylor was definitely surprised because it wasn't discussed beforehand. He just went out and bought himself a $28,000 car, adding $550 a month on their monthly bills. On top of the truck, he bought $3,000 worth of rims. And he says the truck and the rims altogether is going to come out to $275 a week. And Taylor says that's a third of your check. And so he sees nothing wrong with it. He's not going to give up the truck. He sees nothing wrong with it. And don't forget about insurance. How much is the insurance on top of everything else? So it bothers Taylor that Chance does not consult with her when it comes to making financial decisions. He's just running amok. And in a way, I'm like, okay, that if this is his money, it's his money, right? They're not married. Yes, we're living in the same household, but if that's how he wants to spend his money, that's his money. If he's going to be paying for that himself and contributing to the household, what else? I mean, what can you do? What can you do? So, but he should have consulted with her. So he doesn't understand how relationships work, partnerships work. You're going to buy a brand new truck. I can't even fathom buying a brand new car without discussing it with my husband. I can't even fathom that. Money is coming out of the household to go pay for something that he probably would not have agreed. It's just dumb and crazy. And then he tells her, on top of everything else, that he wants to borrow money from the bank to pay for their wedding. Absolutely financially irresponsible. And he's not listening to anything that she's saying. It's like he's just going to do whatever the hell he wants to do. That's all I got to say about them. Moving on. Puppy and Amber. Puppy and Amber. So Puppy and Eric go see an attorney. And it come to find out, Eric hasn't even filed for divorce yet. This man hasn't even, I thought he had already filed for divorce, but for whatever reason, it was taking a long time. He hasn't even filed for divorce. So they go see an attorney, and the attorney says, okay, fine, we can do it for you, but it's going to be $6,500. And so when they go back outside, Puppy's asking him, do you really want to do this? And he's like, yeah, yeah. And she's like, do you really want to do this? And he's like, well, I guess. And then she asked him, do you still love Heather? Which is the ex-wife. Do you still love Heather? And then he didn't answer her. And this, look, I can't even do a recap on this craziness. I can't. Puppy, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let him know, look, if you're still interested, call me up when your divorce is final. Screenshot your divorce with the judge's signature, send it to me, then I'll know that you're ready to continue with this relationship. Until then, you go your way, I'm going to go my way, I'm going to go do my thing. Case closed. Case freaking closed. Then she goes to go see her mom. And so it's a whole bunch of sad music, emotional music, and I have never seen Puppy happy. And I don't even think she was completely happy when she was still fooling around with Amber, because she was so worried about Amber not wanting to be with her. So she even couldn't really be 100% happy at that time. But anyway, so she goes to see her mom. And basically the bottom line of that whole interaction is that, look, if you have to question whether or not you are his number one, and if you have to question whether or not he really loves you, then this relationship is not for you. Just let it go. But Puppy has this thing about being alone. She doesn't want to be single. She doesn't want to be alone. And, that's really sad. That's a really sad. Puppy's the kind of she doesn't know who the hell she is, because she's either been high on drugs or she's been high on whoever she's messing around with. She's never been completely alone to figure out who she is, what she's about, and what she wants. And I can tell that she doesn't know who the hell she is, because she's the kind of person that when she's dating someone, she assumes their identity. In other words, like the way she dresses to match Eric. It's like, Puppy, do you really want to go around looking like that? I mean, I was watching them with their matching leather jackets with the spikes and the studs and all of that, and her spiky high heels, with all the little studs and spikes on them. And I'm like, Puppy, is this you? And it seems like she just takes on the characteristics of whoever she's dating because she has no identity. So it's easy for her to look crazy and to dress like this fool, this clown that she's dating, to dress like him because she doesn't know who the hell she is. So Puppy needs to go to therapy, counseling, stay away from everybody. Stay away from Amber, stay away from Eric, stay away from everybody, and go to some intense counseling, like weekly counseling sessions with a really good therapist to get to the bottom of who the hell Puppy is. Her mom was trying to help. You know what I mean? Her mom was trying to help. Her mom was trying to tell her a little something. But she needs to get with a professional, because she doesn't know who the hell she is. And that's why she keeps on getting into these awful relationships. She keeps on, because you remember last season, she started drinking again. She doesn't know who the hell anyways, I've already said enough. Moving on to Amber. Amber is with her boy, TC, and they're axe throwing. And so Amber is trying to convince us that her and TC are soulmates, or made for each other. They see a future with one another. Amber says that she never even considered having children. Now, because she's with TC, she's actually considering it. They see a future for them together. They see a home. They see children. They are envisioning what their future is going to be looking like. And so it seems like Amber is trying to, she believes that this is the guy for her. So when they go outside, she gets a call from Puppy, and she cuts that off real quick. She's like, I'm on a date. Are you okay? Because I'm on a date. And so Puppy was like, okay, hold on. I just wanted to let you know that we went to go see the divorce attorney, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. And so after she's done with that, Eric was like, oh, so you still refer to her as wifey because she has Puppy saved in her phone as wifey. And so TC, did I say Eric? I meant TC. So TC's like, okay, you still refer to her as wifey? And she's like, yeah, that's like an endearing term that we used when we were in prison. And he's like, no more. You can't, that's not wifey no more. I'm your number one. And so that made me think, is TC kind of controlling? I have a big issue with adults telling other adults what to do on issues that are not life threatening or on things that are not harmful. You can tell another adult, hey, stop smoking crack, put that crack pipe down. That's fine. But to tell another adult on how to save their contacts, no. I can't roll with that. Let her save Puppy in whatever manner she wants to save Puppy. Because if you tell her to change that and she changes it, in her mind, Puppy's still wifey. So what difference does it make? She's only changing it because you told her to. But when she decides to change it on her own without you having to tell her, that's when you know that Puppy's no longer wifey. So I have a major issue with that. I don't like that. Don't tell another adult what to do with their damn phone. No, we're not doing that. So yeah, that's Amber and TC. She really wants. She really wants us to believe that TC is the one for her. He might be. Who the hell knows? He might be the one for her. Moving on. Kevin and Tiffany. This is some silliness here I don't want to spend too much time on. Kevin comes home. He sees the Dear John letter that Tiffany left. And he thought, so she left a Dear John letter, or maybe you can call it like an FU letter, and with the key to the house that he had given her and whatever panties that she found in his drawer. So he's like, he calls her up and he's like, what the hell's going on? And she's like, what do you mean what's going on? Until you get yourself together and you're done with all your other women, call me up. Until then, whatever. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm not talking to anybody else. And she's like, well, who the hell's underwear is that? He was like, I thought they were yours. He's like, I thought they were yours. And so she's like, idiot. So, she's like, look, I just need a break. I just need to stay away from you for a while. And he's like, why? Why you got to stay away? Because every time, you got to stay away, you need a break. And she's like, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to be around you and like completely blow up on you and, tear up your house and cuss you out? No, I need a break from you. And so then he says that, well, if she feels insecure about our relationship, if she thinks I'm fooling around, he says most of the time that means that they're fooling around. But you are fooling around, Kevin, because right after that, you're in a scene with Kayla. You are fooling around on her. She doesn't think that because she's up to no good. She might be. She thinks that because that's what you're actually doing. What are you talking about? So later on, he meets up with Kayla and he says that in the beginning, when he was younger, crazy girls like Kayla were like a big turn on. But now that he's older, they're just exhausting. It doesn't take no time. They start fighting. And Kayla's whole thing is, I'm your day one. I've been there for you. I've been holding it down for you. I'm always there for you. I do whatever you want me to do. I do this, I do that, blah, blah, blah. And you're still chasing other women. And then he thinks he was actually making a point when he said, when was the last time that we were in a serious relationship? And I'm like, Kevin, that's not even the question. That's not even the question. Objection. Irrelevant. That's not the question. The question is, when was the last time that y'all were intimate? That's the question. Because we know how y'all people get down. Y'all could be in absolutely no relationship at all, period, but still doing the do every single day. And that's exactly what Kayla said. She's like, the question is, when was the last time that we hooked up? And she was like, we hook up on the daily. What are you talking about? He had nothing to say to that. So now he's upset. Now he's frustrated with the whole conversation. He gets up and he leaves. And I'm like, okay, this is, Kevin, what is wrong? Like, why do you want to keep going in this constant circle? Kevin is another one that I think needs to join. He needs to get like a 2-for-1 special therapy session with Puppy, because I don't think Kevin is comfortable being alone. I don't think he's comfortable being alone. And I think that's the reason why when things don't work out with the women on the outside, he finds women who are incarcerated, just as long as he's constantly having some kind of communication with some type of woman in his life. Because when we first met Kevin, he had like a revolving door of chicks. He had chicks in prison. He had chicks on the outside. When we met him, he was having dinner with some tall model looking chick. Then we found out about Kayla. Then we found out about Tiffany. I mean, he's another one. Like, he can't be alone. Get rid of Kayla, get rid of Tiffany, and figure out what the hell you want to do. Especially figure out why to keep going back to Kayla when you know you can't give her what she wants and she doesn't make you happy other than when it's that one thing that y'all have in common. And if it's that awesome and if it's that great, then just stay with her. Like, I don't know. Get a 2-for-1 deal, you and Puppy, with a really, really good counselor. Moving on to, oh my goodness, are we at the end? Daonte and Lindsey. I don't think I've talked about Daonte and Lindsey. Moving on to Daonte and Lindsey. So Daonte and Lindsey, they're on their way. I don't know where Daonte thought they were going. I have no idea. But Lindsey tells him, pull over. And so he pulls into a gas station. And then she says, I want you to bail my friend out. I don't even know. Did he know that that was the plan for the afternoon? And so he was like, oh, I don't know about that. And he tries to explain to her, your priorities are all jacked up. You know, you can't be worried about your friends. You're at that point in your life where you cannot be worried about your damn friends, especially the friends that are up to no good. And she's like, you know, what does loyalty mean to you? So that means you're not going to be loyal to me? And, you know, that's a stupid, whatever she said was so stupid. And so he was like, no. You are important to me. I would do anything for you. I would do anything for Mila Grace. You're talking about some stranger, or you're talking about some friend of yours who's getting in trouble. You got to cut that. No, absolutely not. You can't be saving everybody around you. And she doesn't want to hear it. So she's like, you know what? We're wasting time. I need you to go bail my friend out. So she gives him the money. He goes inside. The friend cannot be bailed out because he's got warrants in other counties. So then after that, I guess she can finally give this up. This whole TC thing, she can give it up. And so, she ends up telling him that she herself has warrants. She's got warrants. And so he's like, are you like running from the law? Because she's not taking care of her warrants. And she says, well, it's not like, you know, I'm running from the feds or I'm running from the marshals. She goes, it's only, you know, state. Daonte, whatever you do, don't procreate with her. Please don't procreate with her. She does have a daughter, Mila Grace, who seems to be a very intelligent little girl. But the second time around, he may not be as lucky. So, anyways, she tells him, if we ever get stopped by the cops, don't give them my name and don't give them permission to search the car. Daonte, this is how you want to live? This is how you're so desperate. This is how you want to live? Daonte, you're such a simp. So, yeah, that's basically where he couldn't bail out the friend. And he's going to be, you know, it's going to be like Beyonce and Jay-Z over here. The poor discount Mississippi version of them being on the run together. Moving on to Destiny and Sean and Sarah and Kelly. I have no interest in this. No interest in this. The most interesting part about this segment was when they were showing Destiny, and you know, they put her name up, and then, you know, they put her occupation and it said freelance makeup artist. When did we ever see her holding a makeup brush, a blender, a lippy? When did we ever see her have any of this stuff and applying it to anyone? How is she? When was she a freelance makeup artist? Anyway, so she's still talking about crashing this damn wedding, and she's still after her damn money. Whatever, who cares? The producers asked her in her confessional, so is there any possibility that she could be pregnant by Sean? And she says, next question. So now we're going to have to wait this long, drawn out waiting period of when this baby is going to be born, and then we can have a DNA test and figure out if it's Sean's or what's his name? Jason. Sean or Jason's baby. Kelly has arrived in Ohio. Destiny has arrived in Ohio. So his entire harem is there in Ohio. And so I'm not interested. I don't care about these women confronting Sean. I really don't. It doesn't matter to me if Kelly, Sean, Destiny, Sarah all get into a big old brawl. I really don't care. None of this matters to me. I just want to hurry up, get this through this damn wedding. This is just going to be a constant. And Sarah is a really cute girl. You know, she's a very attractive girl. What are you doing with someone like Sean? And not just someone like Sean because he looks funny, but someone like Sean because he's got so many issues. He's got the ex-girlfriend with the 6 kids. He's got the ex-girlfriend who's basically willing to hurt him if he doesn't give her $50,000, who could be possibly having his baby. This is the man that lies about his children. He's not honest about having kids. He's not honest about how many kids he has. He's not honest about how old he is. And on top of all of that, he's funny looking. What do you see in him, Sarah? And now you are pregnant with him. I can't even say, oh, you're just with them for the money, or you're just with them because, whatever. He's just, you're just waiting for the next come up, somebody better to come around. You don't want to be alone right now. He's putting a roof over your head. But girl, you are pregnant with him. His DNA is going to be running through your child. You're pregnant by this guy. His kids are wonderful. Okay. He has, from the children that we've seen on the show, because his daughter has also arrived in Ohio to confront her father. His kids he's got good looking kids. No doubt about that. But girl, for the rest of your life, you're going to have to say, I have a child with Sean. And then when people see who Sean is, they might feel sorry for you. Why, Sarah? And I can't believe that Destiny is going through with this pregnancy, because Destiny was so wild. She was living on the wild side. She was so wild. I cannot believe that she's going to go through with this pregnancy. I mean, the bump is pretty big, so she can't do nothing about it now. I cannot believe that she went through with this pregnancy. Maybe she was just so out of her mind that she didn't even know that she was pregnant until it was too late. I cannot believe that Destiny is going to have a child. That is my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please make sure to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later, and we will definitely be back talking about this crazy cast of characters once again. Bye-bye.